I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
I'm going to start this show with a disclaimer. My sisters and I all have college degrees. Our children, I believe, all have college degrees. At least one has advanced degree, and another is going for an advanced degree. So, and even though our parents didn't have college degrees, they both had college, experience. They both went to and got some college. So I'm saying this not as a college elitist, but as someone who has looked and talked to other people who maybe had some college but didn't finish or had no interest in going to college. And my question this morning is college really for everyone? And the reason why I say that is because things have changed since both my parents went to when our parents went to college and since my sisters and I have gone to college. College then was quite expensive, but it was still affordable. And people who are baby boomers like us all have thoughts of saying, well, I could pay for my college by my summer job. Now children, and they still are children even at 17, 18 years old, are going into six-figure debt to go to college, and sometimes they don't even finish, but that debt is still there. This Generation Z, that is in college now, and Generation Alpha, that is coming up next behind them, are worried that they won't be able to buy a house, that they won't be able to have children, that they won't be able to do a lot of things that we could do with our college degree because they will be saddled with so much debt. So, sisters, knowing all of this, can we talk about whether or not college is really for everybody and if there are alternative ways of making money?
I would like to say that it is important to be willing to send your children to college, but also be willing to do the work that it might take to keep yourself from going out of debt. I know that all of my children had scholarship money, but my oldest, when she went for her master's, she actually did take out a loan. And she had those loans paid back by working overseas as a teacher. So all of her loans, all of her debt was covered in 3 years. That's not true for a lot of people. And I think it is important to be willing to have your child, your student, if they're going to go to higher education, but they can't afford higher education all at once, work years in between so that you are not saddled with debt. There are a lot of scholarships out there, but you have to work for them. You have to hunt for them. You have to find them. You have to write essays. You have to follow through. And it may be more work than a person wants to put in to get that kind of scholarship coverage. And it's okay for higher education to go ahead, go to school for a year, work a year, go back a year, work a year. It all seems so important to get everything done all at once. But the truth is, you don't have to. My youngest daughter went to college the first year, the second year, and then she worked years in between and recently got her degree. And it was okay because some students, some young people need to work first, find whatever avenues of interest or love or passion that they have, and go ahead and do that thing, and then maybe follow through with college. A lot of students these days go to college to please their parents, and they sometimes take subjects that they are not interested in, but they're doing this to please their parents. And there are other ways of being able to be fulfilled in an industry that you love, that you have a passion for. You could go to a trade school first. You could go to a 2-year college first. You can do these things over time and recognize what your dream is, what your passion is. But you don't necessarily have to go to college right off, or go to college and be there for 5 or 6 or 8 years, depending on what your major is going to be. I know of some very intelligent, well-educated people who did not go to college. Some did not even finish high school. Now, granted, they're older, but they're successful and they love what they're doing.
Well, I think that is the key thing. Are you happy at what you're doing? And success can be defined pretty much, are you happy with what you're doing? If you're able to support yourself as an adult and live comfortably in the lifestyle that you would like to live, and you enjoy doing what you're doing, then college is not necessarily for you if what you need to know to do what you're doing doesn't require a college degree. We have to always remember that this this whole society is based on making a profit. Every single industry we have is a business, and the educational industry is a business. And so when the whole thing of pushing everybody to go to college, that wasn't necessary. You have a lot of things that do not require a college degree, but are necessary functions in our society, such as construction work. I mean, carpentry, plumbing, electricity. You know, these are things that are essential and they don't require college. Everything, landscaping. I mean, you have all kinds of professions. A person might even want to be a dancer, a singer, a musician. And there are many different schools, creative school, artistic schools that are not necessarily college, but training programs or programs that you can get some exposure. There are so many things that you can do that you love that people will pay you for because you're doing it well and you are able to enjoy your life. I think what has happened when we develop this elitist idea of, well, this person is more important because they have a doctorate degree or they have a master's degree or they went to such and such a school that's supposed to be an elitist school. We do that to each other, making people feel like they're of lesser value if they don't have some alphabets behind their name or they didn't go to a certain institution. And that's what has to be corrected in us. We have to change the way we see each other and learn to value people for whoever they are and whatever profession they're doing. So when we approach our children with that mindset of, what is it that you enjoy? What do you love to do? What is your passion? And then we give them the encouragement to pursue that passion and be the best that they can be at it, and give them the moral support that they need to feel good about it. Then we'll see them being successful, not only in their career, but in life. I've known so many friends who were on that college campus and didn't want to be there. And I always think about my friend who went into engineering. He hated it. His mother made him. He got out, got a job in engineering. He hated it. And, a couple of years later, after we graduated, we were talking on the phone, and he was talking about how much he hated his life because he hated what he had to get up and do every day. It didn't matter how much money he was making. He hated it. And when you hate your life, how is that success? If you love what you're doing, that is success.
I have a couple of stories I want to tell, and it's funny because one is from Generation Z, and I have a couple of neighbors. We've become friends with them, and they have younger boys. Well, they're high school age. And we were over there visiting, and I was saying, oh, you're probably, because their oldest boy, I think he's like a junior or senior. And I said, oh, you're getting ready for the college tour soon. And and the wife says, no, actually, he's thinking he doesn't want to go to college. We're thinking he's not going to go to college. He's learning a lot about computer science and coding and things like that. Some of the things will be taken by AI, but excuse me. Sorry, I had a cough. Um, and so and he's learning in high school. So he's thinking he's going to get out in high and after high school and get a job right away in what he loves. The other comes from my tap teacher. Now she's in her early 70s. She's still an amazing dancer, and she has always wanted to tap. You know, this has been her life. And she says, "Well, I'm not going to retire. You know, I don't really have the retirement funds." She said, "I did." And we were having this conversation yesterday, and she was saying, well, you know, I did have some college and I studied the humanities, but that's not what I wanted to do." She has a great life. She has a great life. She's in great shape. She has people who her students are younger than her by decades. She has students who are older than her by at least a decade. So this is something that she has chosen to do for her life. At some point, if she gets injured or she just decides, okay, I'll have enough, you know, she may explore, you know, what her savings look like. But for her life, she has done what she has wanted to do. And I'm going to say one more story, because when I first moved here to my house, the first person who knocked on my door lived across the street. He had been the nephew of the previous owners. He is a plumber. And so I always tell people my plumber came with my house. So when I need something, now Joey's in his 70s now, but when I need something, I can pick up my phone and my plumber will show up in a matter of minutes. He didn't go to college, but let me tell you something. He's made enough money to where he and his wife go on a vacation every year. He's doing fine. And he is the testament to the fact that college, one, probably isn't for everyone. And you can make a pretty good living just doing other work. College is great for the social learning too. And that's good. But even going to a trade school, we have to start thinking of alternative careers that aren't going to bankrupt our kids before they even get out of school.
You know, even Oprah's parents were on her about getting a degree, and she's like, "Mom, I'm a national, international host of a ongoing television program. I have my own magazine. I do this. I'm giving money to children's schools in Africa." And, she's like a multimillionaire. And what do I need to go back to college for?
That's the thing that you have to look at. The programming of that generation. This is what you do. You go to college, you get a degree, you get a good job. But if you have established a business where you are successful, why would you do all of that? You're not looking to get hired by somebody. You're the one who's already got the company that's hiring other people. You've done what you intend to do in life. So it's a mindset of what is success? Success is achieving the goal that you set for yourself of what you want to be. And a lot of things do not require a college degree. So if you love doing something and there's some kind of extra training that you can get and you can master that thing that you're doing and people pay you to do it and you love doing it, that's a successful life. And a lot of people that we know have not gone to college, but they are good at what they do. And like, sure, you mentioned, your plumber, the plumber who handles the house here. He was telling me his story about how it was actually a neighbor that was in plumbing that kind of took him under his wing.
Same with Joey.
Yep. And train him. And so now he's a master plumber. I mean, he's doing all of these things and, he's successful, very successful.
Oh, incredibly. Let me tell you an amazing success story about a man that I have known for years. Okay, he's 94 now, so he's like mama's age. and Mama's generation, but it's John M. Perkins. And I'll just read a little bit from the back of this book. And the man has written like a dozen books that are in publication today. But John M. Perkins has ministered among the poor for 46 years. He founded Mendenhall Ministries, Voice of Calvary Ministries, and Harambee Christian Family Center and Preparatory School, and was co-founder of the Christian Community Development Association. Today, he directs the John M. Perkins Foundation for Reconciliation and Development. He was the publisher of Urban Family Magazine and author of 12 books. Now, despite dropping out of grade school, this man's story is that he dropped out of school at the 3rd grade. A lot of things happened to him. He actually today holds 8 honorary degrees from the directors of World Vision, Prison Fellowship, National Association of Evangelicals. And his story is that his brother died in his arms. He was shot by a deputy marshal. He was beaten and tortured by the sheriff and state police. But through it all, John M. Perkins returned good for evil, love for hate, progress for prejudice, and brought hope to Black and white alike. Now, this is a man who runs a ministry in Mississippi and who, of course, now he's 94 years old. But like I said, he did not even finish grammar school. And there are a lot of things that happened in his life that brought him to where he is today. My favorite book that I'm actually writing my 8-page thesis for the class Black American Literature that I'm taking, Let Justice Roll Down. This is my favorite book of all the books that he's written. And but this man did not go to college. He did not even finish grammar school. But look what he has done with his life today.
Well, I have a list scrolling across the screen of careers that don't require a college degree. Of course, carpenter, plumber, electrician, bricklayer, auto mechanic, landscaper, singer, dancer, musician, painter, roofer, business owner, and as you just pointed out, book author. You see, you don't have to go to college to write a book, and there are many successful authors of books that have not gone to college, many successful business owners that did not go to college. And a business is just basically you're selling something to people, and you do it in an organized fashion. And at some point, you are even able to expand and pay other people to help you sell the thing that you're selling. It doesn't require any kind of college degree. So most people who have been made to believe that unless they get a degree, they're not quite successful, need to look at what is it that I really like to do? And is this something that I can get more experience in and training in and develop my skills in? That, like you said, Cheryl, you're not going into debt to do it because you don't have to take out a loan to take these classes and be on campus and pay for housing and all that. That's not even necessary. So we just need to really pay attention to our children and their aspirations. And if they say, well, I don't want to go to college, don't feel like you got to make them or shame them into it or make them feel like they're going to be a loser in life because what they desire to do isn't what you have in mind for them.
And I had a friend who she was taking, well, she did not have a very good counselor who cared about her. She was Mexican American, and she was going to college, but she didn't really know what she wanted to do. And her counselor said, well, just look down the list of available opportunities and pick a subject, and that should be your major. Well, the first word was accounting. So that's what she went into. And she told me, and she's retired now, but she told me all the years that she was involved in that, she hated it. She hated it.
Yes, you can't make someone love something just because you think they should. And a lot of times people, like you said, will make their children do something that they don't want to do because this is what they say are where the jobs are. But we do so much to limit our children's dreams because of the era that we grew up in, just like our parents grew up in an era where the thing to do, you get a good job with benefits so you can retire, and this is supposed to be your life so you can buy a house. You do these things this way so that you can have the security. And yeah, that might have been the way that you all did it in your time, but times have changed. And now with the internet, yesterday I was watching this seminar with somebody who is making money as a podcaster and and an influencer and getting paid all of this, but just being on the internet, and they don't have a degree. And you think, how are these people making all this money doing this? But this is the time, this is the era that they're growing up in. So they have different opportunities than what we have. The world has changed. So we have to change our advice to the young people.
You can learn almost anything on YouTube. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. I know there was like something I had some I think it was a body wash, and I couldn't figure out how to open it. And I says, okay, you're not stupid. But I didn't know how to open it, and apparently it was a thing because it came up and somebody and they showed you how to do it. I says, oh, okay, so I'm not.
You made a video of how to open the bottle.
Somebody had to make a video, but enough people had a trouble opening this thing that somebody said, okay, if this was hard for me, it's hard for other people. But I also want to say, Barbara had brought up about like maybe taking some time, and I think what we have all done, and which was different from our parents. Now our parents were telling us, take the civil service exam. Remember that everybody used to say, well, take the civil service exam. And people don't really say that anymore. But I remember Daddy saying that even before we went to college. But it was about getting a job, being able to get some kind of stable job. And that's always good. People want to work, and they want to and they want to be able to support themselves and do the things that they want to as part of adulting. But I also remember, sometimes, even though we put our kids on the path for college, they're not always ready to go. Now, when Sarah was ready to go, when it was time for her to go, and I asked her afterward, after she'd graduated, did you want to go to grad school? Well, yes, she did want to go to grad school, but she was done for a while. She had been doing about 17 years straight of school. Since she was 4.
Yeah.
By that time, she says, no, I want to take some time. And so she did. She graduated in 21. She's going to be going to grad school this fall. And it's been good for her because she's also gotten the kind of experience that narrowed down what she wants to study. And this is the thing, is that we're pushing 17, 18-year-olds to go to college, know what they want to do for the rest of their lives, and then go into debt to do that. Now, sometimes it works. Like I said, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in journalism from the time I was about 15. So that was easy. And I was surprised later on in my life that people were saying, you knew what you wanted to do? I had no idea. And they were going to college where they were still going into the junior year and not declaring
to figure it out.
They hadn't figured it out. And now when I talk to kids, and I talk to college students because I teach in a college, and I tell them, don't look for your dream job, look for your first job.
Right.
And understand that what you want to do at 18, 19, even 25 may not want to be what you want to do at 35. We can keep changing. And even if you went to college for something, that doesn't mean you have to do that for the rest of your life.
You're not locked in.
You're not locked in. We always felt like, you start with a company, you stay there, they give you a pension and a gold watch at the end. People move around, and companies don't want you to do that anyway. So
not anymore.
Limit yourself.
Yeah, that has changed.
All kinds of ways. We didn't even put in beautician. I know that there are, schools for that.
Yeah.
But also higher learning. Now, in the coming weeks, we hope to get some people on that have chosen other ways of advancing learning. And one other thing, remember the show or the movie, The Days of Wine and Roses?
I was thinking about that the
Yes.
other day. Yeah.
And her father gave her a set of encyclopedia and told her, if you read every single one, that's the equivalent of a college degree.
Mm.
We don't really have encyclopedias anymore, but
Yeah.
there are other ways of learning. If you go to your library and you read everything you can get your hands on, you are getting the knowledge that college may give you, and you are still honing your critical learning, your critical
Skills.
thinking skills. You're learning a lot, but don't limit yourself and don't lock yourself in. If you're not sure, it's okay not to be sure. Who of us, other than somebody like me who was 40 when I was born, know exactly what to do? And
Born
even
gold.
then, I ended up doing things that I hadn't dreamed of. I had no idea that I could, in my career, I would be teaching college. I would be teaching. That wasn't on my life plan.
Yeah. So you never know what you're going to become. And as the saying says, life is a journey, not a destination. So you
Right.
might do many, many things before you finally do retire or whatever. And some people never retire. Some people do what they love doing forever.
Ever.
And they live out their lives doing that thing that they do. So
And what's
don't
the
have to retire
test?
either.
I was going to say that a job that you love that you would do for free because you love it so much and getting paid is the icing on the cake.
That's it. That's success. Well, it is time for us to go, and we want you to think about what you love and what you would, like you say, what you would be willing to do for free. You love it so much. And then you can master it and enjoy getting paid because you do it so well. And that is the most successful career you can have. So we're going to bring you some alternatives, people who are doing things, they didn't go into debt to learn how to do it, so that you can give your children a greater vision of what they can become without feeling stressed if you don't have all their college money saved up and maybe they didn't get the grades where they could get a scholarship. Well, that's okay. Just let them be who they are and let them enjoy life and let them master the field that they would like to be masters of and enjoy doing it and be successful at it and feel good about it and encourage them to follow it.
And a gap year is also an alternative.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well, until next time, we want you to remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3 Black Moms, and our Facebook page, 3 Black Moms, and feel free to leave your comments. Have you talked to your children about their true aspirations? And tell us some of the things that they said they'd like to do. We'd like to help them make that choice. So until next time, I'm Naima.
I'm Cheryl.
I'm Barbara. We are 3 Black Moms.
And we will see you next time on 3 Black Moms. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black Moms.